I'm making an executive decision.
Uh-oh.
We're moving into the summer. I think this summer we're going to cover just
Summer movies
/ kids in danger.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
Welcome to the Project Gen X Retro Summer Series 2022.
Sarah, beware. I have been generous up until now, but I can be cruel.
Starting in May and ending in August, we will review the summer movies from our youth that include Tron.
Still don't understand why you want to break into the system.
Because, man, somewhere in one of these memories is the evidence. If I got in far enough, I could reconstruct it.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
The Goonies.
Don't say that. Never say that. Goonies never say die.
Back to the Future.
Whoa, this is heavy. There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? What?
And so much more.
We talked into the night. The kind of talk that seemed important until you discover girls.
If I can only have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pass. Cherry flavor pass.
Along the way, we will also sprinkle in some non-movie goodness that will remind us what it was like to be a kid when the socks were high, the shorts were extra short, and there wasn't a cell phone to be seen.
E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. Wants to call somebody.
So sit back and join Big Dave, Barry, and myself, Alan Smith, to relive the magic of the 80s and the retro summer. Welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast.
What was that?
I'm one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with
The other guy, Big Dave. And I'm Barry.
And on this episode, we are going to be covering the 1982 movie E.T. Before we get into this, I only have one thing to say.
And that was one of the noises that
creature
made in the movie. I'm glad
I really only have one thing to say about this movie.
Yeah. What?
Turn on your hot light.
Oh, really? You went Neil Diamond on us. He loves Neil Diamond.
I love Neil Diamond.
Full Neil Diamond.
I love Neil Diamond. I fucking hate that song. Okay? I love Neil Diamond. I love all the kitsch and everything about Neil Diamond, but I hate that song with a passion.
There's a lot to hate.
Oh,
there's
it's
a lot
terrible. So, anyways, Barry,
all right,
start telling us about some
let's
stuff.
Let's go over the stats on this one. E.T., the extraterrestrial, terrestrial. Excuse me. Sorry, that was the porn version. Sorry.
Oh, dude.
Oh, good Lord, it's gonna be one of those.
Oh,
episodes.
yeah.
I love all the memes where it's a still shot of whatever horror parody porn, whatever's like. I think I downloaded the wrong video, the wrong movie, and it's
what was it, Rule 47 or something?
It's Rule
32.
32 of the internet. That if there's a fandom, there's porn.
Yes,
basically,
of course.
it's a.
All right, so this one, of course, was directed by Big Stevie Cool himself, Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
It's not written by him, though.
No, it was written by Melissa Matheson.
Yes, sure.
And she is most famous for writing The Black Stallion.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now
produced by Spielberg as well as Kathleen Kennedy.
Yep.
You might know that name.
I saw that name in the.
Kathleen Kennedy produced Gremlins.
She produced a ton of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Music.
Well, didn't she? She's with Disney now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
yes.
it's or one of the studio. Like she's a big wig in one of the studios. So
music by, of course, if it's Steven Spielberg, it's going to be John Williams.
It's still
it's still one of the most amazing.
That score when it hits. In a scene we'll talk about later, it's just like, oh yeah, this right in the feels, you know.
Produced by Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Distributed by Universal. Released in the U.S. It was actually, this debuted at Cannes, and it was released at Cannes in May 26th of 82, but it debuted in the United States in June 11th.
Turn on your hot light.
Now, before I get into the cast, I have to hit this one because this was mind-blowing to me.
Which one?
The budget on this movie was $30.5 million.
Oh, this movie made what? 200 on its
No.
initial release?
No.
More than that?
No. Box office totals for E.T. the Extraterrestrial. You want to take a guess, Dave?
This is domestic or worldwide?
This is total.
No,
Okay.
I don't want. I would screw this up.
$792 million.
I know it was at one time it was the
Yes.
biggest box
It
office.
beat Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost leaned into the mic and did the Dr. Evil $1 billion.
You were close. You'd be
No,
close.
Dr. Evil would have been $1 million.
There was a movie he did the $1 billion.
Yep.
They laughed at me. It's like,
There's not that much in the world.
money.
Yeah. So the cast. Here we go. Playing Mary Taylor, the mom.
Top build.
Yeah.
Which surprised me
Well,
because
if you think about it,
she
there
is
wasn't really,
she's a supporting character.
but she was the biggest actress in this cast at the time.
Except for Peter Coyote. At the time, you have to remember, Peter Coyote was huge.
Yeah, but
in the
he didn't
early
really
80s.
hit later because this was 82.
Yeah.
And Dee Wallace, the actress that played Mary, had been in several movies before. One in which
Maybe one day,
yes,
when we have a behind a paywall or something, if we ever get to that point, I
Right.
will tell you my Dee Wallace story.
okay, or Dee Wallace Stone if you want to get technical.
Yeah.
But
Dee Wallace Brown at one point. Also,
I don't know.
think so.
I do know that she was the star of one of
She was in The Howling.
my little sister's absolute favorite movies of all time, Cujo.
She was in Cujo. Yeah, she was in a ton of
Yes.
stuff. And
playing-
Rob Zombie loves putting her in his movies
Well,
now.
yeah.
So it's
Oh yeah.
as you should. Playing Elliot Taylor. Yes, Elliot. Henry Thomas, made famous in one of our earlier episodes in Cloak and Dagger.
he was in Cloak and Dagger.
Playing Agent Keys, the FBI agent, was Peter Coyote. The one that is most notable for us is Jagged Edge. That was a huge role for
January
him.
Man.
January Man's
I mean,
another
he
big
was,
one.
He was Peter Coyote was like in that. Okay. Let me use my words here.
He's a
okay?
hey, it's that guy.
He's not just a hey, it's that guy. You have to remember that like in the late 70s and into the early mid 80s, okay? Like that 83, 84, somewhere around in there. Peter Coyote was kind of everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I said kind of everywhere, but he always plays, and even in this movie, it's the same thing. He always plays
Stiff.
that sensitive 1970s AM radio AOR. I listened to way too much.
Christopher Cross.
Dan Fogelberg, and now I'm a massive pussy.
Wow, I wouldn't have gone that far.
I was about to say you went a little further than I would have, but all right.
But he always plays that role, and he plays it in this movie as well. So it's
only in like the last fourth of it because
he's barely in the
Yeah,
first parts of
he
it.
is.
He's just like tooling around in the first scene.
The first
and then a little later.
3/4, he's just walking around as a set of keys.
Yeah,
and a,
pretty much.
and
Oh,
a
That's-
belt.
Pretty
well,
much.
That's why his name was Keys.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So, Michael Taylor, the older brother, was played by an actor named Robert McNaughton. The biggest thing that I could find him from was a movie called I Am the Cheese.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with it, but it was a big deal for him. Playing the little sister, Gertie Taylor.
Some person named Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
I think she came from a.
Was this her first or second?
This was her first because from
Firestar
this, she
came
got
out shortly after.
Okay,
this,
that's
Two Wicked
but-
Firestarter.
Right.
Now, something I found out
She's
that
a
I
Firestarter.
was not aware of. She is the godmother to Frances Bean.
I knew
That
that.
doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I know her and Courtney were pretty tight in one point.
I had no idea that she was Frances Cobain's godmother.
Still one of my favorite all-time Drew Barrymore things that she ever did was when she hosted SNL. Mm-hmm. And they had that scene where like she's backstage opening. I think it was like before the opening monologue or whatever, and she's crying backstage. And they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" She's like, "I'm just scared. I'm so scared to go out in front of the live audience and blah blah blah." And they're like, "Can we get you a milk?" And all of a sudden she goes, "I'm a Barrymore. I'll have scotch and water."
There you go.
Well, her appearance on Letterman where she flashed.
Well, but that's
Letterman, yeah.
we're talking about like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
like,
oh,
I'm
yeah.
a Barrymore. I'll have scotch and water.
Nice.
Which again, if you go back and look at Lionel Barrymore,
Lionel Barrymore,
I
John
know.
Barrymore.
But
I mean,
Lionel
take
Barrymore,
your pick,
like,
you know?
he was Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life. He
Look-
played the heavy in a lot of stuff.
Look
over
up
there.
John Barrymore.
Oh, I know,
sometime,
I
you
know. So,
So there were,
and they were hard drinkers.
oh yeah, there were a lot of people in this movie that had smaller roles in other movies. Sean Fry plays
And can we say
Strife.
that Jade Barrymore might be the ultimate, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? The mom, the backstage, what am I talking? What am I talking?
Stage
mom. Thank you. I mean, God, what a piece of work. Anyway, Go ahead.
So, like I said, there's a lot of smaller parts in this. Sean Fry played Steve. He's been in the movie for keeps. But there were two notable small roles where I don't know if this was their first role or if this was
Talking
one
about
of
Tom
the first
Howell?
roles. C. Thomas
No,
Howell.
no. He is credited in the credits. It says Tom Howell. That's all it
as
says.
Tyler. Again, from another episode that we had mentioned before. It was from the movie Red Dawn.
Well, he was in a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of my...
he was in Soul Man. Come on.
He was in Soul Man. This is true. One of my favorite small bit cameos. This was her first appearance
Erica
in the movie.
Eleniak.
Erica Eleniak
Eleniak, yes.
plays Pretty Girl.
And I saw her and I was like, I think that's her. And then I went and looked up and I was like, oh yeah, that is her.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the movie Under Siege.
Oh, well, no, look. She was in the first season of Baywatch when it was on NBC
Yes.
before it went syndicated. She was in Under Siege. She was a Playboy Playmate.
Yep. 2-time.
I think something like but it's one of those things where like she's been in a bunch of stuff. I mean, like she was in a bunch of stuff over the years.
Think like Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew.
Yes, she was on that as well.
Something like that. But
she was definitely on there.
the other cameo, or I should say the vocal cameo on this that I wasn't aware of, one of the voices for E.T. was Deborah Winger.
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
There were 3 people who voiced it over, and it was her and Steven Spielberg and Pat Walsh.
Yes. And at one time, they had Deborah Winger doing the voice of E.T., and I've seen interviews with her doing the voice. So I was stunned. I was like, okay, so you're telling me the lady from Officer and the Gentleman was E.T.? Cool. Be good.
Okay, so before we get into all of this,
Yep.
and I will put a link to it in the show notes, there is a wonderful YouTube video of this. The 3 of us, but if you're Gen X, listening, you know what I'm talking about, the satanic panic that happened back in the 80s. There was this one idiot that was like, and it was a video that was circulating around about, like all this stuff that's in mainstream movies that blah, 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 blah. E.T. is in this thing. And when asked about it, he said, well, yeah, the biggest things that are here is cross-dressing.
Seriously?
Yes.
No, alien cross-dressing.
No, just cross-dressing. Remote viewing.
Okay.
And homosexuality.
Where does homosexuality
2 of
come into
those,
this?
I can go, okay, I get that. The third one, I'm like, I don't know what movie you watched.
I was about to
but
say.
just
He downloaded the wrong movie.
in 1983. So
And we have to talk about the fact that E.T. is a Jedi, or at least a Force user.
Well, he does show up, but we'll get to that.
well, yeah, there's so much to say about that. So,
All right. Do you have your synopsis ready?
I do.
Oh,
God,
I'm
Dave.
going to go for coffee. Let me know
Buckle
how it
in,
goes.
baby. Buckle in.
The movie opens on aliens from another planet in the woods of California collecting specimens of the local flora.
Are we sure that's not Oregon?
Yeah.
When suddenly the U.S. government arrives with guns determined to collect their own specimen. But the aliens escape in their ship, leaving behind one of their crew. But at the same time, Mike and his friends are in an epic game of D&D, but will not let their little brother Elliot play. Tasked with meeting the pizza guy, Elliot hears a noise in the shed and is scared when he throws his baseball into the shed and it is thrown back to him. Upon investigation, Mike determines that it's a coyote and the matter is closed. Until the next night when Elliot hears the noise again and investigates the cornfield only to see an extraterrestrial. No one believes Elliot, so he takes it upon himself to use Reese's Pieces to lure said extraterrestrial back to his room. Over the next few days, Elliot, Mike, and his little sister Gertie befriend E.T., and shenanigans ensue. But, just like everything good in life, the government can't let people be happy. On Halloween, E.T. and the kids form a plan to contact E.T.'s home planet. After Elliot doesn't come home, the authorities are called. Elliot finally does come home, but he is sick and E.T. is missing. Mike finds E.T. with Rocket Raccoon in a drainage ditch, and they finally reveal him to their mom. But just then, every Gen Xer was taught a valuable lesson that the U.S. government will arrive at your home with guns and the full force of the alphabet organizations. I'm sure there were 87,000 new IRS agents just off camera auditing the shit out of everyone in that neighborhood at gunpoint. to take what they want, and there isn't a fucking thing you can do about it, and they quarantine the house. Just like every Steven Spielberg movie, he makes all the kids in the theater cry their eyes out as E.T. dies, but then miraculously resurrects himself because glowy heart. The kids then concoct a plan to get E.T. to the contact site, and chased by government agents with guns, and narrowly escaped because E.T. has the magical power of bicycle levitation. The aliens return, and E.T. goes home as the family watches, and we're never heard from again because there's no place to escape from the government agents with guns who now know that aliens exist and are pissed off that these kids helped one escape the planet before they could dissect it and reverse engineer all of its technology to make better weapons to beat those damn Russian commies and never abuse that superior power when dealing with their own citizens ever again.
With guns.
But in an alternate, totally unrealistic reality from 2002, no one's breath smells of penis, and a kinder, gentler U.S. government uses walkie-talkies and flashlights instead of guns.
I like how you worked that the walkie-talkie bit in there too. It was a nice touch.
By the way, I had to rent this on Vudu to be able to watch it again. And in the version on Vudu, when they're getting ready to go over the cars, there were no walkie-talkies or
I know. I have an original. It was dude. They cocks that shotgun right as they're coming up on. I know.
I counted at least 5 or 6 different shotguns.
Every single agent has a when they find the abandoned van at the playground.
Right.
Every single agent that runs up has got a .38 special in his hand.
Yep.
Every single one of them. And the mom yells, "No guns! They're just children." Okay. This is the movie when I was 8 years old that told me, do not trust the fucking government because they will come to your house with guns and take whatever they want.
Oh my God.
It took you that long to figure that out?
I was 8. Come on.
All right. Fair. All right. There's a lot to unpack in this movie, so let's go ahead and get going on this. First off, let's talk about the Reese's Pieces. That's one of my favorite
Reese's Pieces were
bits on
about to be discontinued because they were not selling.
this. So, do you know why?
Because Eminem did not want to be associated with the movie.
They thought that they actually, when they viewed the movie, they thought that the character of E.T. was going to terrify children.
Correct.
And they wanted
I see
nothing
that.
to do with
Okay,
it.
we will
they
get into all
washed their
of it.
hands of it. So at that point, Mars kind of just, they said, no, we're not going to have any of our products associated with this movie. So then the guys at Amblin reached out to another candy manufacturer, which just happened to be Reese's, that had just released, I think, the year before.
The year prior, and they weren't selling for anything.
No, nobody wanted them
whatsoever.
because it was just an odd thing. So
I'd never heard of them before this.
Exactly.
yeah, most people hadn't. And then when they brought those
and it's
out,
really funny because they're only on screen for just 30 seconds ish or so. I mean,
they're used a couple of times.
They are, but it's really in that open, like after he sees him the first time, you see the bag, and he goes out, blah blah blah, and then when he's going to get him into the house, you see him luring. But then after that, they're gone.
I actually partially blame this movie for my type 2 diabetes and Reese's Pieces.
All right,
you're not
I
wrong.
want to
You're
say
not wrong.
something definitively right now.
Yes.
It is Reese's Pieces, not Reese's Pieces. Okay, that irritates the absolute fuck out of me when I hear people say Reese's Pieces.
Saying Reese's Pieces.
Oh my God, do they?
Yep.
I know.
Because I used to slap people for that. They'd say Reese's Pieces, and I'd slap them and be like, "Say it correctly."
Yeah, it's Reese's Pieces.
So there, that was,
and unfortunately, those ungodly things are still available because I had some last year at Halloween. They still taste terrible.
Oh,
okay?
I disagree. They're one of my favorite things on the planet.
Screw you, Al.
And you are outvoted, sir.
Look,
but
I think peanut butter is one of the most perfect foods that has ever been invented. Okay, but I do not like that sugar peanut butter that they use in all of that stuff. That is just too much.
Reese's is one of my favorite candies.
I'm down
so
with you.
You can bite me.
Yeah, I got to side with Dave on this one. So that was one of the product placements. There was a lot of other little ones.
They were everywhere.
I know.
Coors. Don't forget Coors. Okay.
Star Wars.
There's Star Wars little elements on this now.
John Wayne.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
He's got a poster on his wall, and he also has a light switch. This Incredible Hulk.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the light switch.
The cover on the light switch.
So just as, kind of segueing from that into the casting on this. Now, the casting on this was really interesting. I found out a couple of things that I wasn't aware of. First off, you know how I love to find who was initially going to be cast in the movies. Initially cast as Elliot was Ralph Macchio.
No.
And I can't see that working. I mean, granted,
too old for one thing.
Well, in 82 he wasn't. In 82, he and Henry Thomas were pretty close to the same age.
That can't be right. Think about it. 2 years later, he was Daniel LaRusso. I mean,
this would have been about the
23.
Time.
Yeah.
Well, but this would have been right around the time of The Outsiders. So I can
but you're talking about a 2 year difference here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
We talked a little bit about Pat Welsh, doing the the voice as long with Spielberg and with Deborah Winger. The funny thing is, Welsh was paid $380 for that whole movie.
$380.
Yep,
makes that sounds about right.
Did he get a point of the marketing?
Nope.
That's too bad on his.
Did the government come to his house with guns and take that $380 because it?
Total. Now, there is a cameo that was not used in this movie.
Okay.
There isn't a version of it, and you can see it on like the DVD versions, but it's never actually been released. Harrison Ford plays
I remember
Elliot's teacher.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Screw that guy.
I remember hearing about. I've seen that video because it's on YouTube. You can see it.
Yep.
It's yeah.
There's a whole scene with like E.T. elevating Elliot, off the floor. And
It's really funny.
It's odd.
Like with the teacher, you never see the teacher's face. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then later.
Well, there's a reason for that.
There's several of those. Like later when the cops at the house, whenever Elliot's missing, you never see the cop's face.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Renee kind of got in on watching the movie with me last night, and she brought up a very valid point that until they have Elliot and E.T. in the isolation tent, you see the only adult that you see a face of
Wallace.
is Dee Wallace.
It's true,
and everybody else is from the shoulders down.
Yes. Do you know why?
Faceless. Well,
probably for pay.
Nope. I found this out, and I had to do some digging to find this out for this very thing. Steven Spielberg was a huge fan of Tex Avery.
Okay.
And in Tex Avery cartoons, if you
never see the adults,
you never see the adults' faces. You always see them from like the waist down.
Right,
or
right. You can hear their voice, but you never
yeah.
see the face.
And that's what he wanted to inflict is that
I got
the
that.
idea of, from a child's point of view, you're not going to really be paying attention to an adult's face. You're going to be seeing them from your vision level.
But she was also made the point that when they're in the isolation tent working on the two of them, you suddenly see all their faces, but they're all behind a mask. Mm-hmm. And it's not until
they take them off.
Not until E.T. dies that they take them off.
Kind of humanizing them.
Yeah. But then when
they're not humans.
and then when E.T. comes back to life and they go to escape him, the kids on the bikes suddenly mask up.
Yes. Pulled like the hood over his mask and cinched up this.
One of them puts on his terrorist costume from the night before.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So, and then they don't actually, and they're kind of in a state of disbelief that this can't be happening. And it's not until they see E.T. coming off the back of the van that they unmask.
Yeah. Right. I guess
so.
Now, something else that I found about the production of this movie that it was just completely mind-blowing to me. This is one of the most iconic movies of all time. I think it's safe to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's like number 5 or number 6 on sale, all-time box office sales in history.
With
it's up there.
inflation, yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is there's been so many movies that have gone over $1 billion in the last decade.
Well, I know it's up there.
Yeah, I think it's still in the top 10 or 15.
I would definitely say that this one...
Inflation, it's definitely near the top.
Yeah,
I mean,
on a cost per day, this has it beat all the way around.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
This entire movie was made in 2 months. 61 days to make this movie, which was actually 4 days below schedule.
That will explain why this movie kind of jumps from point to point from time to time.
It is a little choppy.
It also points to a very good production department that had everything planned out well into pre-production.
Right.
And since we're already talking about the monies, let's talk about the monies for a minute on this thing. The opening weekend or the opening day on this, $11 million in $82,
which is 3 times that now.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
it's
how
about
much? How much
million.
it cost to make the movie?
It was $30 million.
So it made
a third of its money back
on its
first
opening day.
Opening day.
Yeah, that's what I said on its first day.
On the second weekend on this, it actually recorded the highest grossing second weekend of all time. The record prior to that was set at $10,765,000. Want to take a guess what the movie was?
Star Wars. Jaws.
Superman 2. Superman 2 set it in 81. In 83, it actually surpassed Star Wars to become the highest grossing film of all time. And by the end of the theatrical run, it had grossed $359 million and $619 million worldwide.
Jeez.
It's just insane. It's been said
It was a force.
that there were over 120 million tickets sold to this movie.
That doesn't surprise me any.
How would you like to have been a fly at the table when Lucas and Spielberg had dinner after E.T. surpassed Star Wars money-wise?
I'll do you one better. Spielberg, it's been estimated that he made approximately $500,000 a day
Because of this
off
film.
this movie. A day, boys.
Well, you know about, going back to Lucas, because Lucas was in production of Star Wars at the same time that Spielberg was in production of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
And Spielberg, Lucas, there's a story that has been corroborated that Lucas was really not happy during production of Star Wars because it wasn't going the way he wanted to, and of course the Fox was just not. They were like,
have you ever heard of a story where Lucas is happy about anything?
But it was also one of those things where Fox was just like, oh wow, we really shit the bed on this one. We'll just this is going to be a loss. We'll just write it off for whatever. But Steven Spielberg came to the set and was like, was everything, and he brought dailies from Close Encounters with him, and they were sitting and watching, and Lucas was really just like, dude, your movie is amazing. Like, it's going to be so much bigger than starting this movie that I'm making, blah, blah, blah. And Spielberg was like, no. What you're doing is going to be huge. You just don't realize it yet.
Right.
So they agreed to give each other points on both movies.
Yeah, they kind of broke even from each other on that,
Spielberg
made out on Star Wars
because of the points that he got on Star Wars for nothing more than just saying, no, this movie's going to be big, has made somewhere in the range of $25 to $30 million.
Yeah.
Insane.
And don't get me wrong, Encounters is a great movie.
I love Close Encounters.
But that movie did not blow up.
It didn't. No. It had a long tail, but it did not blow up, of course. Star Wars was a phenomenon. There's a difference. I mean, it was like, Close Encounters did well. Star Wars was a phenomenon.
And then E.T. comes around and surpasses
exactly.
it. Yeah. And so it kind of going back under the numbers here really quick, it's something that just is mind-blowing to me. This was the highest grossing movie of all time up until 1993 when Jurassic Park usurped it, which just so happens to be another Steven Spielberg movie.
I know.
It's just
Lucas
unreal.
hasn't had crap since Star Wars.
The VHS cassette.
Which is funny because
all I'm gonna say is Howard the Duck.
Hey.
But
it's one of my favorites.
It's funny you say that because the Force Awakens is actually one of the top 5 grossing movies of all time.
Yeah,
which I know it's Disney now. It's not Lucas.
Unfortunately, Lucas was the one who wrote the dialogue for that.
Anyway, we won't get into all
the VHS cassette, which you owned, I owned, everybody owned. Over 6 million rentals of just that cassette alone. Okay. And it held the record until Batman.
Yes. So the thing about that VHS of E.T., E.T. was released in 82.
Yep.
That video cassette wasn't released until years later.
85.
I know. Yeah. And it was a huge deal. I remember it being a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, because everybody was
I'm sorry, 88.
80. As you were saying, I thought it was a little later. I remember it being a huge deal because it had never been officially released. Now, we had a copy of it
because you recorded off of HBO.
Exactly, and that type of stuff. But I have to say, I went to the theater and saw this movie.
Who didn't?
And then, especially with the box office it made. But I did not see this movie again for a couple of years. And it was a whole recording on HBO type stuff. And I think it was watching it at school, like one of the end of the year type thing.
I can tell you exactly.
And I have not, and I'll be honest, until last night, I have not seen this movie.
Yeah, it's more of an event. You see it, it hits you. It's not necessarily something you're going to rewatch a lot of. I remember when this movie came out that they actually, for people that got to go see it in the first runs on it, they would sell little buttons or give you little buttons that said, I saw E.T.
Right.
Actually, one of my exes had one of those for when she went to go see it.
Oh, that's
that was,
cool.
prized possession. But they really did a good job of the marketing on this movie when it first came out.
They marketed the crap out of this movie.
Not just the promotions of the movie, but
everything.
Can we talk about the promotional materials?
Go right ahead.
$1 billion in sales.
Are we going to talk about the
toy?
The vibrating ET finger?
No, absolutely not. What is wrong with you?
It's a thing.
It is a thing.
It's a thing.
He's not wrong.
It is a thing. It is a notorious thing now.
It is a thing.
All I'm going to say is that Spielberg learned his lesson from Lucas on the marketing side.
He did. It was because ET was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Well, Reese's Pieces generated over, I think that this brought like something 65% boost in sales to Reese's.
You said it.
You almost got slapped. I had the pimp hand out.
I'm going to go get my boxing gloves.
That was intentional. That was intentional. To Reese's.
Oh, yeah.
65%.
It saved the product.
I mean, it just
absolutely
literally
saved the product.
Bloomed them. Kenner was a big promotion of the E.T. plush toy, which sold everywhere.
Right.
The figurines, all this other. There's a company called Kuahara.
I have a bootleg ceramic E.T. here.
Yes,
from
Dave's been taking pictures with it.
Yeah, this is from 19. This is funny. I found this in a thrift store a few years ago, and I think I paid like $1 for it or something because I was like, this is one of those things where like you guys, those of you listening can't see it, but I have a ceramic Darth Vader light that was a bootleg deal that was done. Like one of my family members made that one for me. This one I picked up just a few years ago. I've had that Darth Vader light forever. This was made by. I'm just going to say it because I don't know who this person is. This was made because on the bottom of it, you know, if you've ever done ceramics, you know before you fire it, you can etch your name, you know, whatever. In 1983, this was made by Don Lacey, whoever that is.
The year after the movie came out.
After the movie came out. And I have this ugly piece of ceramic.
It's actually, for being a bootleg, it looks pretty good, actually.
It's funny how...
Dawn, if you're listening,
I know, that would be
amazing
if Dawn was listening. I did get it here in Nashville, so I mean, there is a possibility she's still around these parts, you know. But it's just, I saw that, and I was like, I have to buy it because it's something you're not going to run across very often, you know.
Well, so as I was mentioning, there's a company called Kuahara. I think I'm pronouncing that right. They're a bicycle manufacturer. They actually released the ET version of Elliot's bike and sold it. And it was hugely popular.
Even though most of those bikes were Mongoose.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
What was the other big BMX company besides
it was Huffy was made the
Huffy, Mongoose. And
Huffy made the Mongoose.
It's like KT or something like that.
It was, I forget what the other one was. I had a...
All of the models were also in BMX Bandits.
Had the basket on the front of it, which was basically nothing but a milk carton.
It was a milk carton. It was totally homemade. Yep. We all tried to do it.
I had a Huffy Mongoose at one point.
Yeah.
And okay. Funny thing about that, like that the bicycle chase scene at the end of it, totally not an 8-year-old kid on that bike.
No, nowhere close. Nowhere close to an 8-year-old.
If I remember the stories right, they actually hired some BMX riders to come in and do all of that.
When they're chasing him,
a foot and a half.
Yeah,
taller
when they're
than
chasing,
the
and you look at Elliot, he's like a good foot and a half taller than what he should be.
Well, just to talk about the cultural impact on this movie has been viewed by everybody. When he was president, Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were totally moved by it to actually release a letter back to Steven Spielberg because of it. It's said that when Princess Diana watched this movie, she openly wept because of it. I mean, it was screened for the United Nations.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous how many people have seen this.
Yeah, but for the United Nations, it was like, look, you jerks. This is not how you treat aliens when they come to the planet. This is how you get interplanetary war.
We've also seen the pictures of Michael Jackson with the ET.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's one of those things. It was that type of phenomenon. It crossed so many boundaries.
I can tell you where I was at, what movie theater I went to. We were still in Michigan, and it was that little movie theater up on the square. And the two movies I remember seeing in that movie theater was E.T. and Six Pack.
Nice.
Oh, Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. Yeah,
I saw it at Cinema North, and you guys know
Nice.
exactly what I'm talking about because which is now a church. Which apparently every abandoned movie theater around here turns into a church.
No, it
eventually.
doesn't.
Not
Cinema
Rivergate
South is
8.
now an Aldi.
Okay, I know Rivergate 8 hasn't been co-opted yet, but
So
square footage, man. Square footage.
exactly.
I know.
So I know we don't talk about it often on these, but let's talk about the awards for this for just a moment because this was up for Academy Awards.
Bunch of them.
It was actually nominated for 9 Academy Awards that year.
And how many did it win?
I think it won like 2.
Yeah,
But it was up for the biggie. It was up for movie,
Right.
the best film, and it lost to Gandhi. Now, here's the funny thing: Richard Attenborough,
Politics.
No. Richard Attenborough, the director of Gandhi, later stated he fully expected to lose to E.T.
Well,
He was preparing to lose to that movie because he said it was that good.
He should have. I've seen Gandhi. It's not that great of a film.
It's a little long.
It's like Forrest Gump.
There's nothing wrong with Forrest Gump. You shut your filthy mouth.
And as
If you look at the movies it was up against for Best
All
Picture
right,
that
all
year,
right.
it did not deserve to win. Okay,
and I know we've talked about the National Registry, the
it
National
did
Film
not
Registry.
deserve to win Best Picture in 1994. Okay,
This is another movie that, of course, has been added to the National Film Registry,
Mm-hmm.
and I try never to look at BFI stuff because it's so subjective. But this is one of the top, one of the top 10.
AFI?
No, BFI actually, British Film Institute.
Oh, okay. Not the American Film
No,
Institute.
not the American Film Institute. But this was rated number 8.
The difference is that the American Film Institute has guns, where the British Institute does not have guns.
No, they have walkie-talkies.
That's right.
And they're more snooty.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking
Which
of the
is saying-
walkie-talkies. All right. For those of you that have no idea what we're talking about with the walkie-talkies on this, let's get into it. The 20th anniversary.
Okay, let's get into it. This is what happened. In 1997, which was the 20-year anniversary of Star Wars, George Lucas decided he wanted to go back in and fix all of his movies.
You mean screw them up and add a bunch of garbage that
and
shouldn't
put
be
them
there?
back in theaters, and they were highly successful. So his buddy Steven Spielberg said, hey, the 20th anniversary of E.T.'s coming up in a couple of years. I could do the same thing. And since I want this to be more of a kid's film, let's take all the guns out digitally and put walkie-talkies in.
Now, anyone that's ever seen something change digitally knows that it's never 100%. It looks so odd.
And we all know the government does not come to your house with walkie-talkies. They come to your house with guns. They kick the door in at 6 a.m. when you're still in bed.
But that was
clarity
and black bag you and carry off, never to be seen again.
Exactly.
You know who shows up at your house with walkie-talkies? British government.
That's true.
Well, actually, it's funny.
But they always look down their nose at you while you're doing
something
it. So
Dave
it's-
mentioned on this
And
before.
wear a huge, stupid-looking fuzzy hat.
Exactly.
All right. Something you mentioned beforehand, Dave, on this. The character, I can't remember which one of the guys that was wearing the terrorist costume.
Yeah.
That's changed as well. It's changed from the terrorist costume to the hippie costume.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay,
I can't make that up. I'm like, so.
Okay. All right. Well, hold
I'm
on.
glad Voodoo has
Hold
the
on.
copy.
Hold on.
that I
Let's talk
grew up
about
with.
something real quick before we go into this.
Yep.
So, do you think the creators of Stranger Things watched this movie before they decided what Dustin was going to wear?
Once or twice.
Oh, no. Stranger Things is a complete callback to all the stuff that we love, including they borrowed clothing from that 70s show for the kids to
But
wear.
when that was, I started laughing when they're showing those kids, and they're like, and he's like, meet us at the playground, whatever. And he puts on the headphones, and he's got the trucker hat,
Yeah.
and the
vest.
The vest. I'm like, dude, that's straight up Dustin's outfit right there. So
No, I mean the guy. Let's call it the guys from Stranger Things.
I know.
They are totally
they
playing on the remember berries
I
with
know.
all of our
There's
stuff.
no way
and
that you couldn't.
I love them for it because they did it correctly.
Exactly.
well.
And honestly, there's no way that you could make
Sometimes.
that series and not have some kind of nods to E.T.
I know.
I mean, that
get
was
it.
such an
Well,
impactful thing.
The
in that time
opening, basically the opening scene of Stranger, well, not the opening scene of Stranger, the first episode of Stranger Things, but when they're at
Which
the
season?
house, the first season
Okay.
of Stranger Things,
The
when they're at
D&D
that, they're
game.
playing D&D. That is lifted straight from this movie.
And then they go out and hop on the bike.
Exactly.
I mean it. And let's be honest, this was our childhood.
Yeah.
We were either playing board games or D&D or whatever, and then you knew where everybody was because of the 14 billion bicycles that were dumped in the front yard.
And you were usually hanging out with them anyway. So.
Right.
I was never a nerd like you guys, so it was like I didn't play D&D. So.
You just weren't invited. Anyway.
Actually, he was very sheltered. Very, very sheltered.
No, my parents would have had a conniption fit if they found out I was playing D&D.
See? Very, very sheltered.
All right.
My parents, too. I just never got caught.
Yeah, well.
So, you know
Rebel.
Dave, fighting the power.
I know.
Well, you know, in every one of these episodes, I've always talked about it. Sequels.
Dark Skies.
So.
Do you know about this, Dave?
Yeah.
No.
Go
You
ahead.
don't.
Go ahead.
So, E.T.'s biggest movie on the planet. So, of course, the theaters they're like, hey, we got to have a sequel.
Oh, no.
Spielberg was involved, and it was him, and who was the other writer?
I can't remember.
They came up with a sequel that was called Dark Skies.
Okay.
Yep.
Completely different movie than this.
Mm-hmm.
Completely. Basically, it wasn't his species. It was another alien species who was chasing.
Yes,
he was chasing their species, come to Earth, and decide, oh, we can take this place over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically, it would have been set in the E.T. universe, but
however, there is actually an unofficial sequel to this. It's
is
a
it
short
Dark
film.
Sky? Oh,
no,
okay.
it's not Dark
Oh,
Sky.
that's right. There's a short film.
There's a short film that was released in 2019. It actually came out during the Macy's Day Parade, the Thanksgiving Day Macy's Day Parade.
Okay.
In November 28th, 2019. And it was a 4-minute commercial.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
It was called A Holiday Reunion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, where he comes back and visits Elliot.
Yeah,
as an adult.
I thought it was a Super Bowl commercial. Though.
No, it was the Macy's Day one.
It was before the Super Bowl.
Oh,
because it was a holiday.
I kind of want to see Dark Skies now.
Well,
that sounds
the funny thing,
that sounds wonderfully terrible.
Right, and the funny thing about that is that there was a series on TNT called Dark Skies.
Dark Skies, yeah.
That was produced by Steven Spielberg about an alien invasion.
Yeah.
So I've never read anything that said it was a direct line to it, but it definitely was inspired by the idea.
My question is, if they were being chased by another alien species, why didn't they bring it up in the council with the rest of the?
All right,
Since
let's
you've opened
talk
the door,
about it. Okay,
you've opened the door.
So in the Phantom Menace, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in the Senate chamber. There, when you're seeing all of the senators from the different planets and the galaxies and everything, there are two.
In the bottom right.
Is there four?
There's
okay,
four in that box.
Four of the species that ET is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, that goes back to at Halloween, they're walking and there's someone dressed as Yoda.
Yep.
And ET says,
Instantly
home,
recognizes
home,
him.
home,
starts-
and turns around and starts following
trying
the
to
kid,
follow
like
him,
trying
yeah.
to follow him. It's like, okay, so that means that this world of ET takes place in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, yes, it does.
And there is a movie about Star Wars because there are Star Wars figures all over this thing.
And when
there's Greedo, there's Hammerhead, there's Bob. I know.
And
it's
ET's
like,
going, oh, I know him.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I know him. Oh, I know him.
That's Phil. That's Steve. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Why do you have a small picture of Steve?
I know,
What is this?
exactly.
Did you see how he kind of frowned when he goes, and that's Boba Fett? And he kind of does that furrowed brow.
You can make them fight. Yeah. It's like, he's
my
like,
Well, and actually, so another appearance that
which
ET
again goes back to the theory of,
Is he a
what
Force
if,
user?
No. What if Han Solo was frozen in carbonite and then was thawed out in the 1920s and became Indiana Jones?
Well, it would explain why.
So Star Wars happened in a galaxy long ago.
That'd still
in
be
a
a-
galaxy far, far away.
Well,
That-
and it
that
would
would
explain why C-3PO and R2-D2 are
on the
actually
Ark of the
on the
Covenant.
Ark of the Covenant.
Or they're not on the Ark of the Covenant, they're on
No,
the
frame,
hieroglyphics
yeah.
in the back. of the
It would
thing.
still be a better story than the Ryan Johnson Star Wars.
Wow. All right.
you're
So
not
something
wrong,
else.
so-
Something else I want to talk about that was a big part of my childhood. In Universal Studios Florida, they actually
The E.T.
it was in
ride?
1990. They did make the E.T. the E.T. Adventure is what it was called, and it was this really unique concept of a ride. It was the first time I'd ever seen anything like this. The whole process, it was a dark ride. You're basically you get on a bicycle. That are clustered together, so
Right.
everyone's riding a bicycle, and you're following ET, through the skies and around the town and everything. But the coolest thing about it was at the end of the ride, when you got off the bike and started to walk out, E.T. said goodbye to you.
ECW said
ECW. ECW. You needed a wrestling reference in this one, I know. But E.T. would say goodbye to you, but he would say it to your first name.
Oh, that's cool.
That was the first time I'd ever heard of anything like that happen. It was so creepy because you're walking out, goodbye, Barry.
Oh.
That was weird.
Yeah.
He's real. He's real.
Let's talk about E.T., the actual puppet suit, whatever it is. Okay. It is both the best and worst thing about this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that as, of course, I was coming back in it having not seen the movie in close to 40 years, okay? And being like, oh, yeah, I remember this being really, like, the E.T. himself looking really good.
Yep.
And you know what? For 1982, he did.
Yeah.
But there are also times in this movie where it's like, oh, dude, they really should have like not put him full on screen as much as they did.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, because it really does start kind of falling apart after a little while.
Right.
No, I thought the animatronics in the bodysuit were amazing.
They like I said, they were great technologically.
Yeah.
But there are times where it's like, oh yeah, a little goes a long way on this.
Yeah,
you know?
and I mean, it was a unique shape. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was nothing like that had ever been put out into movies beforehand to show, you know, this is an alien. This is what an alien's supposed to look like.
Right.
So I'll give them props on that for coming up with something clever and creative. I still don't understand why they made him look like a testicle. But,
well,
you know,
I get that.
I'm sorry, you can't deny that, Dave. I mean, it's not a flattering bodysuit.
They,
okay?
you know, they made some choices, and when I say they made some choices, I'm not saying that as derogatory.
Right.
I mean, they made some choices, and they made some good choices in some of the stuff. I really like what they did with his feet.
Yes, and the neck.
And
the neck was a great movement on that because
I'll tell you the problem with the neck, though. There's a couple of times in this thing where the neck goes up and the head kind of leans to the side.
Oh yeah, you can tell it's a little
way too top heavy.
It's a little top heavy, yeah.
And that's another one of those. As well as they did with creating E.T., there were issues, you know, and that's, and again that goes back to my whole. They might have put him in, and of course, you know, the terrible green screen stuff. But again, 1982,
82,
whatever.
In 82, it was blue screen.
But again, it's 82. I mean, it's like even from the beginning, because like when the government agents show up after, you know, he's left behind, when they're showing the neighborhood in the background, obvious green screen of them, or blue screen of the silhouettes of the agents in front of it. It's like, oh yeah, that sticks out. You know, when he's flying through the air. You know, or when they're it's bad.
It's not as bad as some of the blue screen.
I agree.
In some of the movies at the same time.
I agree. Yeah. You know, and or when he makes the Play-Doh go up in the air and that kind of stuff. There's several things where it's like, okay, but again, it's 1982,
right?
And I never thought about that whatsoever back then. You know, so I mean, yeah, it's a. I went into this movie kind of skeptical. Mm-hmm. I really did. I went into this movie thinking this could wind up being another never-ending story.
No,
you know?
it totally holds up.
It is not, okay?
Yeah.
As I said, I have not seen this. This last night was the first time I'd seen this movie in close to 40 years. Okay?
Right.
And I didn't know how. I did not know how it was going to affect me, you know. And there are, and I told Barry this story before you got here. I was sitting there last night. It was almost 10 o'clock. You know, I'm laying in bed and I'm watching it. You know, and like that scene, like when they're back at the house and they order the pizza, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, pizza sounds really good.
Subliminal messaging.
Yep. And I ordered a pizza, and I am paying for it today because it's one of those things that, like, it's not that I haven't had pizza in the last 5 months, but those of you listeners, in the last 5 months, I've been really watching what I eat, you know, and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
This was the first time in a good long time that I ordered just out of that sounds good rather than I was hungry.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like I woke up today dehydrated and all kinds, because I
life.
also ordered a Mountain Dew, you know, and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not really hating life, but it's just like, oh yeah, there's a reason why I don't eat junk late at night anymore, because I wake up feeling terrible the next day.
Pieces.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that would happen.
But it was one of those things where it was like, in a lot of ways, watching this movie last night was comfort food in a lot of ways.
I could see that.
You know,
absolutely.
And there, I got to say this. Henry Thomas is amazing in this movie, because so many times child actors come off as child actors.
Yeah.
He didn't. He actually emoted. There are moments in this where it's just like, no, I believe that is a kid who is going through all this stuff. Drew Barrymore.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
The guy
she's
who played
not,
Michael.
Yeah, I know.
You
But
know?
Drew Barrymore is not in this a whole lot because she is a supporting character. But
Right.
I'm sorry. I will forever say that a 5-year-old Drew Barrymore in that scene when she first meets E.T., when she screams,
the gritty scream,
is one of the most realistic portrayals of a child on film I have ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where she screams, and I love the scene like when she initially screams, and then they're trying. Of course, the mom's at home; they're trying to get her to shut up, and they pull her into the closet, and she turns around, and he's there. And she screams, and he screams, and they're running off screen. You know, it's just like, no, that's exactly how a 5-year-old kid would react in that situation.
Yep.
And then she calms down, and she starts asking questions the way a 5-year-old kid asks questions.
Yep.
I will forever say that Spielberg, when he is at his best,
knows how to work with children.
Not only knows how to work with children, but knows how to capture childhood.
Oh, yeah.
On film.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
No doubt.
One question I do have about this, was this shot in the same neighborhood as Poltergeist? Because they look an awful lot alike.
That's a good question.
They look dead
and now
on.
here's the
I
thing.
don't
They
know.
both came out at the same time. They were both in production at the same time.
Yes. And both Spielberg had a hand in both of them.
And supposedly Toby Hooper directed
We'll get into
Poltergeist, but there's a whole, when Oktoberfest rolls around, we're going to hold a whole episode. But
yes,
there have been rumors for years that Spielberg actually directed that movie, and because it's got Spielberg's fingerprints
depends on
all over it.
Depends on which of the actors you ask.
I think Poltergeist and E.T. probably happened a block and a half over from each other, because
they look like the exact same neighborhood.
When they first started going into the neighborhood, I had to check with the credentials on Voodoo. It was like, did I accidentally download Poltergeist?
I know.
Well,
It
but
just,
I think that actually speaks to something on this, though. Even if they weren't, the fact that they look so much alike,
I know,
that ought to tell you what our neighborhoods look like in '82.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they were so.
This was the
just,
suburbs like you wouldn't believe.
Cookie cutter
I mean,
suburb.
yeah.
I mean, this could be anywhere.
See,
it really could.
Now, if you watch a film 30 years from now, from this time period, the house will be like 4 foot wide and 125 feet tall with like 16 stories on it.
On like an eighth of an acre of land.
Only if it was filmed in Nashville.
Now, all over. It's not just here.
No, it's not just here.
Those tall and skinnies have invaded.
And it'll be surrounded by
city.
87,000 IRS agents going, "Where's my money?"
Holding walkie-talkies.
Holding.
No.
These will be full on M4s.
No. These are the new IRS agents who are tasked to, hey, are you okay with firing on U.S. citizens if you need to?
All right.
Okay?
So before we go down that rabbit hole, we would be remiss if we did not touch base on one albatross that hangs around the neck of E.T., the image of it, and that is the Atari 2600 game.
Oh, the landfill game.
Yes, the most hated video game in history.
Go ahead, pull it out, Alan. I'm going to take a picture of it for the Instagram.
I don't have it in this room. It's in a box
We'll
elsewhere.
get
don't have it.
We'll get it. We'll get
I
it.
think, and I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure I actually have it anymore. So
this,
I did have it, yeah.
So just to touch base on this, that Atari 2600 was the premier gaming system at
the
that
time,
and they decided to make a video game. Atari decided to front this for Christmas of '82.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have come out right after the big rush for ET. So everybody knew it was right at the perfect moment.
Yeah, and this is go ahead.
Yeah.
And just
it was a huge seller. They sold a ton of these things.
Yeah.
However,
and then people started playing them.
Yes, that was the problem.
Well, they were only given 6 weeks to create it.
And it was glitchy, and it was problematic, and it was impossible to play.
When you look at your game selections and it's Asteroids and Circus and E.T. and the Asteroids game is broken, you chose Circus over this game every time.
So this
it's
actually
not good. I remember playing as a kid and being like, "What the hell am I supposed to be doing here?"
This game holds a couple of records. Number
now
one,
again, they did do something very realistic on that.
Yes.
Every once in a while, a government agent will come
Stop
in and take
it.
you away. So it's
Stop it. So, as I said, this particular video game holds a couple of records. First off, it did have one of the highest recorded sales of opening weekend for it. Once it came out, everybody wanted to get a copy.
Did it also have the highest record number of returns to the store?
To this day.
It absolutely did.
Because this was back in an
so
era.
bad, man.
Well, this was
back in an era when they would take them back.
You could return video games.
Right.
And that was the problem, is that so many people bought this thing, got it home, played it, hated it, and returned it back to the store. And then the stores are looking at each other going, what the hell are we going to do with this?
So they sent them back to Atari,
who, again, looked at each other and said, we can't repurpose these. We can't reuse these. What are we going to do with them?
So they went into a landfill in Arizona.
Yes.
Where they should have stayed.
And they did until 15,
something like
14, 15. They
So
found them.
If any of our listeners has not seen this and is not familiar with it, Alan and I have talked a little bit about this on
Game
on
Over.
previous episodes.
Yeah.
There is a great documentary called Game Over that talks about not just the history of this game, but specifically the history of Atari.
Well, the final days of Atari.
Well, the rise and fall. The rise and fall
More
of
on
Atari.
the fall, yeah.
But it just so happens Alan's wearing an Atari T-shirt right now, which even makes it better. But
not.
Yeah, I know. But to really, truly appreciate how bad this was, how horrendously
So
bad of a game this was, I would encourage all of our listeners to go out and watch this and give it a legit, viewing. And just remember, this was back in an era where these games were not cheap.
No.
Atari games usually start at what, $40, $50?
It depends. You could buy some of them $20, $30.
Yeah.
Depending on what it was.
But still, that's $20, $30 in 82 money.
Which we know that in 82 money today is about 3 times.
Yeah.
So you're talking. So if you buy a game for $20,
it's $60.
There it's $60.
So you're looking at anywhere between
which is about what you're
60
paying for a video game these days anyway.
True.
Yeah.
But
this
some
game
of the
is
Atari games were a higher price point.
Oh, yeah.
Pitfall was one of a lot of the Activision
absolutely.
stuff,
The Activision
and
stuff,
this was one of them
absolutely.
because they're like, E.T. is a cash cow. We're going to make as much off this as possible, and they did. They were in that $40 price range.
Yep.
Extrapolate that out. That's $120 for
Yeah.
kids. Okay,
But here's the thing. This is the game. This game right here is the reason why
This is not
all
the
video
reason.
game
Okay, all right, hold on. Before you say
all
that,
sales are final on
Yes.
video.
yeah,
games.
That is
okay,
true.
There
That
is
is true.
What I was getting ready to say is this game unfairly. I mean, it has its point. It's playing, but this game unfairly is blamed for bringing down for the video game crash of '83.
Well,
No,
specifically the
that's-
fall of Atari, not the
Yeah.
video game crash.
Well,
That was
the fall
not
of
what I
Atari.
was going to say,
Yeah,
and
'cause-
what you guys kept running over me.
I
it's
know,
Like this
I
is
know.
this game right here is the reason why you
And by the
cannot
way,
return video
games,
games
right,
anymore.
right.
The name of the town was Alamogordo.
Alamogordo, Arizona,
and it was in 24.
Or was it Arizona or New
it was
Mexico?
New Mexico.
New Mexico. New Mexico.
Alamogordo, New Mexico.
That's right, it's
and,
New Mexico.
The dig that they went back was in 2014.
14. That's what it was. Because that was a rumor for the longest time. Like they couldn't corroborate it, and then some people said, "Hey, we're going to go. We think we know about where." And it's kind of interesting because it was someone who worked there.
Yeah, and there
all
was
those
really
years
no
ago,
records to be found
Was
of where
like,
this
no,
was.
I remember when that happened.
Yep.
It was kind of over in this area,
And they were apparently bringing in trucks by just like
they kept
constant.
And it wasn't just ET cartridges. It
no,
was
there
a
were
whole
others,
bunch
but
of other
the
stuff.
predominant one was ET
Yeah,
because
and
of the return.
again, this was without getting into an Atari episode here, which is something we may need to do at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But Atari had a real quality control issue because anybody could make an Atari game.
Yep.
And there was a lot of crap that got put out because of it.
Yep.
And so, and that E.T. and then their port of Pac-Man, which was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
I had it. I played it.
Yeah, I played it too
loved
because I had it.
But
you know?
it wasn't.
It was eh.
It wasn't
It
just
wasn't
8-bit. It was bad 8-bit.
It wasn't Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just wasn't. Which is really funny because like a year after that, Ms. Pac-Man came to
Right.
Atari 2600, and it looked like Ms. Pac-Man.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
But there was a combination of things that led to Atari, the downfall and all video games. I mean, even to the point to where like when Nintendo, the reason the NES is called the Nintendo Entertainment System is because the stigma of video games was so bad that they did not want to put video game system on there.
Yeah.
And they basically saved the home video game market in 1985.
Well,
but anyway, we're into go ahead.
I have one more note on this as far as an appearance of E.T. and it's as of this year, as a matter of fact, in 2022, the so popular film Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
I have not seen this.
I haven't either, but I've read up about this, and now
I've heard that it's actually something worth watching.
I've seen the trailer. It looks hysterical.
Well, this is going to hit Dave where he lives. There is a scene in this where E.T. fights Batman.
I'm down. I'm down for that. Force using alien against rich playboy philanthropist superhero.
Apparently, there's a billboard in this movie at some point that shows E.T. fighting Batman.
Bruce, why are you dressed like Batman? Because he is Batman, you idiot.
I'm down.
House,
I would watch that. Yeah.
All right. So just to kind of wrap everything up on this, guys, is it still rewatchable?
Absolutely.
I definitely agree. The original
I'm not
version
ashamed
is
to say
rewatchable.
In 1982, when I was sitting in the theaters, I cried my eyes out watching this movie. Last night, about 11:30 in the evening, I'm sitting watching this movie, crying my eyes out.
Yep.
I mean, just you know, and it was one of those things where it's like, I was not expecting. I honestly, I was not expecting this film to hold up. I was fully expecting to come in here and like, there's a reason why I was not as snarky on my. You know, I know there was some snark in there, but I was like, I can't be snarky about this film because this hits me exactly where I live.
You were talking. Let's go back to the
it,
John Williams thing for a minute, because we haven't gone back to John.
Oh, the music.
That one build up where he's getting on the spaceship and it's building, and then all of a sudden it goes into that real delicate.
I know. The bicycle scene.
The bicycle
when
scene.
They do that drop when they take off. Of course, you get the iconic them flying past the moon. But that's when that movie that music hit. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, warm fuzzies, fuzzies. Yeah. Oh, warm fuzzies.
Well,
you know,
there's a reason why
my heart lit up. I turned on my heart lights.
Oh, there he goes. But I mean, that's a great one. But that build up, because you expect to get the big pop on the end of the build up, and it immediately drops the volume off. It goes into that real delicate.
Yeah.
Soft.
I know I was not expecting to like this movie.
I will say
as much as I did.
If you can find the original cut, not the 20th anniversary.
Yeah. I watched the original cut. So
Voodoo has the original cut right now.
Okay.
I think it was like $4 and change for a rental.
You know what was really funny?
Totally worth it.
What was really funny about it is that when they released that DVD in 2002, when they were going to release the Blu-ray some years later, and Steven Spielberg was at a panel, I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con, when he announced that they were going to do it.
Right.
And he was like, so let me ask you a question. How many of you E.T. fans want to see the original cut? And the place went nuts. Yeah. And then it was like, how many want to see the 2002 cut? And almost nobody said anything. He's like, well, I guess the fans have spoken.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
It's like, yeah, we all know the government comes to your house with guns, not walkie-talkies to take what they want. So,
well, you know, I think it's not just that; it's also
sometimes with a very broad search warrant.
You're already dealing with something that has a little bit.
Wait, you got a search warrant?
Yeah. Oh, you know, that's the other thing. That's the other thing with this. There is no search warrant. They just show up. They come in spacesuits.
Yeah, which was odd. I thought that was funny too.
I mean,
not only that, but the night before they broke into the house because they waited for the mother to leave.
They waited for her to leave, and then they went in and broke without any permission whatsoever.
And it was like 4 or 5 carloads of agents.
I know.
Which did anybody else think that was kind of strange that these guys in these like Tyvek space suits come walking out of like a Chevy Caprice Classic?
I know.
It just seemed weird.
Well, it's the government. Everything's last dollar funded.
Well, yeah, but it just seems like you would wait to get there to dress up, not put the stuff on and then get in the car. I just thought that was kind of strange.
Well, you know, because radiation.
Oh, well, yeah. There
You know, this kid's been living with this thing for, what, 4 or 5 days? And,
Yeah, no.
you know, we got to take a chance on radiation.
And yet there were people that weren't in suits that were with them. I thought
I
that
know.
was
It just.
it's like, why are you guys, you know?
That was closer to the real government than anything I've seen in a while.
They thought they were going to a Gallagher show or something.
That scene right afterwards where they're
Splash Zone.
where they're walking down the street.
Yeah.
And it's all backlit with the sun
Oh,
setting.
it was almost like a march.
I know, and they're rolling that plastic the tunnel, and it's like that was as a kid that was terrifying. Last night rewatching it, it was terrifying for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
But it was still like, wow, that is a very effective scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I figured out something last night watching this movie.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we all know that J.J. Abrams loves Steven Spielberg and has been trying to emulate him in everything whatsoever.
Yeah,
Right.
get something original, JJ.
I figured out where J.J. Abrams found his massive hard-on for the lens flare.
Oh.
It's in this movie.
Yeah.
Well,
it's in
yeah, I
this
believe
movie.
it.
When he stays home from school,
Yep.
and he's laying in bed, and the sun's in the background, you get that big lens flare of him looking into the.
Yeah, 'cause I think-
it's like, oh, JJ, that right there, that's the origin story of J.J. Abrams.
I don't
there.
think
So it's
I don't think Spielberg used anamorphic lenses for this entire movie, but I think there were some instances he definitely used them to get that lens flare.
Yeah.
So
All right, guys. Well, listen, to all of our listeners that are still staying with us after, Alan's rant about the government and,
I'm telling you, they will come to your house with guns and take what they want, and you will never be seen again.
check us out on Discord.
That's the reason
guys.
why we never got it. That's the reason why we never got a sequel.
Oh,
The
would you
government took them
stop?
away. They disappeared. They're in a black site
Would you
somewhere.
stop?
And that is
Did you ever see him again after the final scene?
no. That's what I'm saying.
They got lost in the
That's what I'm
forest
saying.
somewhere.
And that's the other thing. Okay, look. All right, that's the other thing. Whenever they show up, the mom, Mary, and Peter Coyote, Mr. Keys, show up. No other government agents. How the hell did that work?
No, well,
Okay. Oh, something else we didn't talk about.
Uh-oh.
When he finally talks to Elliot, and he said, "I'm." It doesn't seem real, or something like it seems like a dream. And he says, "I've had the same dream since I was 10 years old." That implies that he had met one of these creatures.
That was actually one of the
previously.
rights that they did on this
Yeah.
was to try to say that this is not the first time that they've come into
Right.
to Earth.
And I was like, that. I have not seen it, so I was like, oh, that okay, It kind of goes back to the Cloak and Dagger episode where he talks
He's
about
the
your dad.
adult had the same
your
thing,
dad. Was we used to play.
Well, I mean, let's admit it. The government's full of a bunch of molders, and they're all there because something happened to them in their childhood. That they went, something's not right here. We're not being told the truth by the government, so I'm going to join the government to figure out what the truth is, and then you're indoctrinated.
Yeah, and then they give them guns, and they come to your house, and they take what they want.
Exactly.
They were walkie-talkie. Stop it.
They're not British.
Actually, they would come with guns and walkie-talkies.
Yeah, well, there you go. So
It's kind of hard to aim,
Well, that's what the whole earpiece with the
there you go.
mic and
there
all
you
that
go.
is.
Yeah, well.
All right, guys. Well, listen. If you've enjoyed this, if you haven't, if you've got opinions on ET, which we hope you do, please feel free to reach out to us on Discord, send us an email, hit us up on the Instas.
We're still waiting on our hate mail over the never-ending story.
Oh, I'm sure
we
it's
really
coming.
Don't.
I'm
I
sure
was
it's
really
coming.
kind of surprised we didn't get any on that one, but I also think that a lot of people went back and rewatched that movie and realized what we said was true.
Well,
So-
I mean, it's hard to deny that. I was actually talking. I told Alan a little bit about this before. My coworkers at my business and I were discussing this, and we've determined that if you ever want to traumatize a child, give them the back-to-back double feature of, Never-Ending Story and Watership Down.
Oh man, Watership.
Yep,
Down is-
there you go.
And if you really want to throw in the Red Badge of Courage, you can truly traumatize a child.
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Where the Red Fern
or
grows, yeah.
Old Yeller. Either one of those. Either one of those.
Oh,
It
there's
just-
another
Sounder.
Sounder. There's the other one. I was trying to pull it. Yep, Sounder.
there are plenty of those movies. It's like, hey, this is a great kids movie. Let's traumatize them for the rest of their lives.
Well, that's what Disney has made their millions off
I
of.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Bambi,
boys,
right straight off the bat, they kill his mom. Right straight off the bat.
Yep.
So I mean, it's.
I mean, there's a reason why the big giant rat's walking around down there in Florida. He's smiling because he's collecting those greenbacks.
jeez. By the way, you know this. We're almost at the end of the summer.
We are. We have one more movie left.
Yes. So
and it's one that we're going to go out on that's going to be wonderful, I do believe.
And it's definitely a polarizing movie. You either love this movie or you don't understand.
Okay, you either love this movie or you're wrong.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but
that's all I got to say about that. So tune in next week to find out what that is. I'm Alan Smith. Remember that the U.S. government will come to your house with guns and take what they want and make you disappear forever. So
I'm the other guy, Big Dave, and Alan's already about to get black bagged.
And I'm Barry, and I'm holding a walkie-talkie.
And we will see you next time.
See ya.